for joining us again. Halloween rolls on. The month is getting closer and closer to the 31st. Back with another film. Another sequel, Jared. Is this a slasher? It's a sequel to a slasher, but it's not what I would particularly call a slasher.
No, I probably wouldn't put it in that category.
It's Urban Legends Bloody Mary from 2005, a direct-to-DVD sequel to a couple of lesser slashers in my mind. I believe we did commentaries for both the first and second one. So, because of our Halloween commentary at the last episode, we've forgone that. But before we get to starting that film, Jared, what have you been watching?
Well, still trying to work my way through the challenge, the Halloween challenge. Failing miserably, because I guess that's what happens when you try 5 times to watch Life Force and fucking fall asleep every time. But I got up to the Rob Zombie day, so I watched Lords of Salem, because that was the only Rob Zombie movie I hadn't watched. Didn't love it, no surprise. I just don't, it's always the writing with him, like, and the characters, like there was particular stuff in this one where I didn't mind it overall, and again, some really cool imagery, some good scenes. But then there's the parts where, you know, the characters are acting in ways that you just can't imagine any person acting in, and it's just so unnatural, and the dialogue and things like that, I just can't connect with them on any level, really. So didn't love that. Next one was Killer Dolls, so I went to the Child's Play remake, watched that again, quite enjoyed it. It's got a few issues, but there's certain things that I do quite like about it. I like Mark Hamill in most stuff. I think he does a reasonable job. Didn't mind the idea of trying to bring the technology into it, but then I think Megan probably actually did it better in certain ways.
Agreed.
But yeah, that was fun. Then there was a City Slickers theme, so I went to American Psycho, which I actually hadn't watched since the first time I watched it. Great performance by Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah.
And it is funnier than I recall it being. It's got some really funny parts in there.
I just can't get over that bit where the guy shows him his business card and it's embossed and everything, and he's fucking fuming.
Yeah,
he's absolutely fuming about the business card.
Yeah. So yeah, I probably liked it more than I did the first time around. Next theme was Tony Todd. So I went to Final Destination because I've been planning to go back to that. So even though he's only in it for a little bit, very much enjoyed it. I mean, it's cheesy as there's some really dumb things about it, like Stifler basically playing Stifler in that context. It really kind of takes you out of a couple of scenes. But taking that kind of cheesy idea and playing it straight actually kind of works. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back onto the sequels because I haven't seen a number of them in quite some time either. I then checked out Five Nights at Freddy's at the cinema. That wasn't a theme. That was just something that I was locked into with one of my kids.
Okay. And how did that try?
I actually liked it. I know the reviews haven't been great, but I think I kind of said to you, I feel like they sort of made it critic-proof in a way because they understood that it had such a fan base that if they can get that fan base to go, it's going to be a hit. And I think that's what happened. That was certainly my experience in the cinema. It was just absolutely loaded with people that were gasping every time there was a cameo from a YouTuber or an Easter egg about the lore of the game. I think they made a really wise move in trying to stay very close to the look and feel of the games. All in all, it's a pretty down-the-line sort of story, not much surprising there, but it's very true to the games and so has a lot of places to go. So I think people that like the games will enjoy the movie, and in that sense, it doesn't really matter what people who... I know it sounds like strange to say, but it doesn't really matter what people that aren't already fans of it come in and think about it. It's going to be a hit anyway.
Yeah, and it's not for them. It's not for new people.
Well, that's the thing. It's oftentimes they're trying to grasp onto a new fan base and whatever. This one's sort of just like, we've got it. And we have had it for nearly 10 years now. Like, the games are quite old at this point, and there's so much lore around them, and it's pretty unique in that it's for years, every one of the games has been picked apart for clues and the lore, and the people that made the game sort of fed into that. So I thought there might be a little more of that in the movie. There wasn't really, but I think they just they kind of outlined enough to then go and make however many sequels they would want to make. And I believe the budget was about 25 mil, and I think it's already knocked up 70 on opening weekend. So
yeah, so I mean, this makes up for The Exorcist.
Yeah, exactly.
For Blumhouse. So
exactly.
In a way, this is perfect tonic.
Yep. Yep. So I enjoyed that one. I would say if you don't play the games already, you probably go in there and it'll just be like a middling sort of experience at best. But yeah, that's what it is. Getting back onto the challenge, the next theme was movie in a movie. So I stumbled across a little anthology called Chillerama, which I knew was kind of fairly low budget, but it had a couple of names like Adam Green directs one of the segments. So I thought, okay, well, I'll check it out. It's not bad. A couple of the segments are okay, but some of it just goes off the rails. I think it just falls into the trap of, let's just be a little bit gross in parts for the sake of it. Let's just be a little bit, juvenile and whatnot. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think if you're doing it for the sake of that and just saying, we'll watch our movie because we'll, there'll be scenes that involve gore and stuff like that also involve nudity and things like this to a level that perhaps I don't want to particularly see. So I'm just kind of like, at certain points, I'm like, yeah, it's better to just kind of scare me or make me laugh or just have a tighter bit of work than say, no, we'll do our work by just, going all in on that sort of stuff. And I found that although I liked Hatchet and I would say I enjoy what Adam Green does, I think he does a bit of that in his own movies too. Yeah. So it's good. It shares a similarity with the Hatchet movies in that sense. But yeah, it was okay. I didn't rate super highly, but I've seen worse. And then the last one, which sort of segues with you there, Adam. Obviously, last night we attended a screening of Scream and Scream 6 back to back, which was thoroughly enjoyable.
Very much so.
Original print of the film, so we had the scratches and everything. And
yeah, she looked a bit shaky.
It looked a bit shaky, but it was an enjoyable way to do it. I think that's probably the third time we've seen it on the big screen. Oh, you've probably seen it once or twice more than that, but I think I've seen it 3 or 4 times on the big screen now.
I've seen it at least 3 times. I can't remember others.
Because I remember me and you went to one.
Twice.
Me and you went to a Wes Craven doubleheader with Nightmare and Scream.
Yes.
A cinema probably a year or 2 ago.
Yes.
And then, I saw it in the cinemas when you saw it for your second time, I believe.
Yes, I'd seen it before that in 97 when it came out, and then we went not long after that.
Yep.
And then, obviously, that's at least the 4th time I've seen it. Really, really good. I enjoyed it. So, segueing into what I had, I really enjoyed it. Watching the first one is just I think, arguably the best slasher movie of all time.
Yeah, I love it. Obviously.
And Scream 6 is tidy.
Yeah.
It's a tidy little piece of work. It keeps things going, and I'm comfortable with what they're doing. I felt like they should have killed Courtney Cox.
Yeah, I know we've kind of spoken about that, and I sort of feel like
and Kirby, like I think you could have scrubbed the old cast. That's the end of it. It
goes into this whole, it outlines the rules again. Our legacy characters mean nothing. We can kill you off now, and then they don't kill any of them.
Yeah,
it's kind of subverting the things again, but it's kind of just putting out its own sort of rules for the requels and things like that. So I don't think it's got as much basis in there's not as many requels as there was slashes for Scream to parody, for example.
Yes.
So they're kind of there's a little bit of thinness there, but I still think what they're putting together, they're still keeping it fresh. They're still making relevant kind of commentary on the genres, and
it'll be interesting to see where they go for the next one.
Yeah.
I then watched Avatar, The Way of Water. 3 hours. Look, the plot's a little clunky and the dialogue's a bit naff, which is a bit of a surprise for James Cameron. Like, if I ever look back at my favourite Cameron films, which are obviously Terminator 2, Aliens, True Lies, the dialogue crackles.
Yeah,
he always does well with that stuff. It just seems like these because
Avatar was the same.
Yeah,
wasn't the fucking thing they were after called unobtainium?
Something like that. Fucking hell. Holy shit. I forgot about that. But I will say this. The bloke does spectacle better than anyone else. The visual work is unbelievable. Like, this is as close as you get to kind of like... remember the whole thing about Final Fantasy being that movie that was sort of going to transition from actors to computer-generated characters.
Yeah.
And it didn't really work.
Didn't quite work.
No, it didn't work at all. But this is as close as you'll get to that. Like, I feel like the work is really good. Like, the clone character, avatar character of Stephen Lang looks like Stephen Lang.
Mm.
Like, and moves the same and all that sort of shit. So some real effort's gone into that. And, the bloke never does anything by halves.
No.
She's long. She's got a little bit of bloat.
He does it by half billions, I think.
Yeah. But it's still a pretty enjoyable watch, and the action sequences are fucking great.
Mm.
So, as per usual, I think he always does something different when he puts these things on screen. He waits and he delivers. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the next film because they were all done recently.
Could you do 5? 5 Avatar pictures? Because that's what he's got lined up.
Oh, fuck, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
There's some head scratching decisions near the end.
Yeah.
That I don't really understand. Clearly, they're for sequels, but I felt like they weren't earned, and that's very James Cameron like.
Okay. Which
is interesting. So it will be interesting to see what the sequels bring. But I certainly have no issues watching the next one. So I'm pretty happy with it. I watched The Boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking terrible. No, okay. I was really upset about it. Because I'd heard it was all right. It was originally supposed to go just to Hulu.
Yeah.
And then I read this thing saying they had fantastic test screenings. They took it to Stephen King. He watched it, penned a gushing letter. And I'm like, fuck off. Did you show him the same movie?
Yeah, well, Stephen wrote a gushing letter because he knew if it went into cinemas, it'd make a little more dosh than on a streaming, perhaps.
Yeah, Stephen wrote a gushing letter. No, it's a fucking template letter. He's giving it to every prick.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Okay.
Like, it sucked. Like, the entire thing was just crap. And
okay.
The short story, the conceit of the short story is in the first maybe 10 minutes.
Yep.
And then it sort of spins off to its own story. But, Jared, if the monster doesn't like the light, turn the fucking lights on. Like, how hard is this?
Yeah.
I've never seen so many sequences where I couldn't see what was happening.
Yeah.
The directorial work is just shit. Like, it's just blackness half the time.
So where does this stand me, given that I put out there, I seem to be the only bloke on the planet that thought I really disliked Host.
You won't like it. I mean, Host, I see why Host could work, though, because it was done through the computer cameras and everything.
The directorial stuff wasn't as big of a thing.
Because what you're doing is you're just putting these little things in the background and that, right?
And picking which one to show in full screen and stuff.
This was just terrible. And you know what it reminded me a little bit of? You know that Come Play that we watched?
Yeah.
Which was better?
Yeah.
Substantially better.
Yeah, right.
So it was not a good experience for me.
Well, that's good because I was planning on watching that. So I still will, but
get to it when you forget to it. But I wouldn't bust a boiler over it. I rewatched Night of the Creeps.
Classic.
You know what? That's knocking on the door of my top 5.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I love that movie, and Tom Atkins. It is one of the great performances for me. It's one of the great characters that I wish we'd have seen in a host of film.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing that Night of the Creeps wasn't kind of a hit.
Would have been cool, like, to put it across, like, he's the detective that shows up in kind of different creature feature-y sort of...
Yeah, that would have been
50s
cool.
throwbacks.
And I still stand by what I said at the time, is he could have had that Bruce Willis type of career. Like, that type of character would have worked for Bruce Willis too. You know what I mean? Like, you could have done the same thing with him, but it would have got shitloads more money and people would have watched it.
Yeah. I think Atkins has got a little more of the roguish charm than
he does.
Willis
He does. But Willis has that same sort of smirk, smart ass type of style,
sarcastic
style.
You can imagine Willis rolling in and saying, "Thrill me."
Yeah, and you could. I still fucking laugh when the kid turns up and goes, they're attacking everyone and that, and he gets his shotgun out, and then you notice he's got the fucking oven on. He's just gassing himself.
Yeah.
Like, I love that stuff. I thought that stuff was so cool.
Yeah. Well, I've got Creature Feature coming up on my challenge, so I might need you to drop that Blu-ray over so I can get onto that.
I found it.
Good.
We've watched several episodes of Goosebumps.
Oh, yeah. I watched the first one.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one.
We're 5 or 6 deep, and it's still really, really good, and it's connecting everything really well.
I think that's what I really enjoyed about the first episode is that, okay, well, we're not doing the standalones here. I love a standalone. Like, the original one was kind of like a Twilight Zone light sort of stuff. But I love the idea that they came up with to connect them.
Yes, so. It's really, really good. And I'm six episodes in, and it's hanging together very nicely.
Gripping you.
Gripping, yes. I would say I'm gripped. I went to Shudder. I know. Surprise.
I was surprised you could find it on your iPad.
Well, I hovered over it. And I watched a movie. It's produced by Alex Arja. And it's called Night of the Hunted. And it's basically, in a nutshell, it's phone booth, but it's in like a out-of-the-way petrol station.
Yep.
Right? And there's basically a sniper up on the... there's a massive big billboard just across the road, and there's a sniper up there, and he's put a two-way radio in the store, and he's picking on this woman who... She's coming back from a conference, she's having an affair, and you think it might have something to do with that, but he seems to kind of lay out all these different reasons why he's doing what he's doing, and saying, you tell me why I'm doing this. And it holds for about an hour, and then it just, like all these movies, it just doesn't kind of find the end well. You know, it kind of fumbles the ending. But she's reasonably tight. I would say have a look.
Right.
Worth it. Only a quick 85 minutes too. And the last one for me is I watched Knock at the Cabin.
Batista.
Batista, man.
Better actor than The Rock?
Much better.
So I've heard.
There's nuance to the bloke's performance. He has to do a lot of the heavy lifting with the monologues and stuff, and he does them really, really well. And there's that whole thing of like this gigantic hulking guy who has to kind of keep saying to these people, we don't want to do this either, but we have to, because it's all about saving the world, and you guys have to, like, and he brings a lot of sort of pathos even to it. It's not the greatest film. The idea is cool, but she's a bit sluggish in the guts.
Yeah, okay.
And there isn't what you'd call like a twist.
I've been holding off reading the book because I've got the book. Sorry, I've been holding off watching the movie because I've got the book and I haven't read the book.
Yeah. So
I was thinking, do I knock over the book and then watch the movie? But I heard Shyamalan made some changes about the end and whatnot. So, yeah, I might end up watching the movie first. But so you're saying it's not a...
It's sort of a 2.5.
Okay.
It's handy. It's got moments, but it's not. I mean, the bloke, I'm not going to lie, Shyamalan has not even come close to his best work.
No, not for a while.
20-odd years. Like,
I watched Old, and that was...
From what I heard...
Weird.
His found footage one wasn't bad.
The Visit? That was okay, yeah.
But, I mean... Unbreakable's in my top 5. And he wouldn't be within a bull's roar of that.
No.
Like, not in a million fucking years. And I don't think he'll ever get back to that, to be honest.
No. He hasn't shown many, pardon the pun, he hasn't shown signs of getting back to that for a while.
No.
So.
And, Glass was not good.
No, not at all.
And it's interesting looking back on Glass because I think you'll find that Willis wasn't in good shape even then.
No.
So it's pretty clear that they couldn't use him as often as they probably would have wanted.
Yeah, that's probably right, but I don't get the feeling that it would have changed much.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that was where he was wanting to go anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck, if you could have had David done more in that film, I think it would have been better.
Yeah.
That's the important piece for me. But so that's everything for me.
I've got a little bit of a conversation piece to throw.
Oh.
I know I haven't mentioned it. I haven't mentioned it, but it just kind of pops back into my mind. Given that this week I've received emails from both Disney Plus and Paramount.
Yes,
let's say
upping the cabbage,
upping the amount of.
Mate,
cash
I'm fucking running out of letters. I can tell you that right now. You know what though? Yeah. I sometimes don't even realise they've taken the money off me.
I know. It's everything's opt out now. So I think I'm gonna cancel this service, and then I see they've taken $150 out for the year, and I'm like, fuck. I'll have to wait till next year. No, but so Disney's pushed up to 140, and that's a significant jump.
Yeah,
because I believe the last bill for them was
110.
And it started at I think the first year I paid for Disney was 80, and we knew that was always going to go. That was going to go up because it was the whole we're pushing for scale, and then we'll bump the prices up. But I basically got Paramount in the same week asking for 100. 100 for the year, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when it's your fucking 7th or 8th streaming service.
Well, it's like $8 a month, right?
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah.
But I have.
You've perused Paramount.
I've perused
now.
Paramount. And
is it worth 100 a year?
Fuck no. Yeah. Not even close. Like we watched that particular film.
Yep.
Pet Sematary Bloodline. Me and my wife have watched iCarly, the remake of iCarly.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. I've circled
and I have
2 to 3
not
things.
looked at anything else.
There's 2 to 3 properties that they have that I want to watch, but I don't think it's anything that I can't watch in a month and then cancel it for a while.
Well, it was interesting too, Jared, because I was circling Nancy Drew. I believe it's on there because I had watched the first season.
Yep.
The 3rd season was on there, and I'd heard that it goes back to away from the supernatural. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I wouldn't mind checking that out, and if I can get it here. And then I stumbled across it on Stan.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll watch it here then.
Yeah, well, they're still... It's funny because that stuff was going away. It was like if someone owned a property and then they had their streaming service, then it was going to be on their streaming service. But now they're farming them out again to make a bit of extra cash. So something's got to give. Some of them have got to fold. I was looking at Stan because Stan's the one that's like they got very few of their own things.
Okay, I've got an idea now while we're having this conversation, Jared. What's your hierarchy?
My hierarchy?
1 through 10, because you've got about 10.
You're going to piss yourself at my number one option at the moment. If I'm talking at the moment, it's Tubi. I'm watching much shit on Tubi.
I don't piss myself. You know why, Jared? Because these guys are doing it for free.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of the kind of schlock that we like.
They got a lot of shit that I haven't seen since I was in the video store in the 90s.
Correct. And Tubi is like being in the video store.
Yes, correct.
Right? Once you walk past the new releases, then you're in Tubi.
Yeah. But I guess I'll take Tubi off the list because it's free.
Okay.
So if I'm taking that off the list, the freebies, I'm pretty down on Netflix, but Netflix is probably up there just because they got so much stuff. Shudder.
I can't believe that gets so much play.
Only because of Joe Bob.
It's got nothing on it.
It's really only Joe Bob that's keeping me.
Okay, so you're going Netflix at 1?
Netflix at 1.
Shudder at 2?
Actually, it's probably not even Shudder at 2. It's probably at 2. Amazon's up there. But again, they're loaded with shit that you wouldn't watch if you were fucking... I mean, if it was a Clockwork Orange and they were holding my eyeballs open, they put on Amazon, I'd say, just kill me. There's so much stuff on there that's just...
If you had half a brain, you wouldn't watch Amazon, but yet you watch it regularly.
Well,
I think that says a lot.
The thing is, Amazon's got a layer of solid product.
And then,
but again, Amazon are basically... I should take that out of the list too because I don't pay for Amazon Prime, for the Prime Video.
Yeah, you do it for the
I use it
Amazon
to get stuff that, posted here that we can't really get readily. So if I'm talking about the ones that I pay for just for the streaming, it's probably Netflix, then Shudder. Stan would be... Netflix, Disney, Shudder, Stan behind that. Stan's got some good stuff, but I find myself only on there every now and then.
Okay.
And a lot of the stuff they have is stuff that I own as well. Like they've got the Elm Street movies and they've got the Friday the 13th, but I've got those, so I can watch them.
So what's at the bottom? Because this is where you start looking
This is where I've got to start pairing off. Paramount. I'm eyeing off Paramount. They're in the firing line.
Paramount's gone.
Paramount is in the firing line. I know you were circling Binge. I haven't been... I don't pay for Binge. I don't actually watch Binge, so... I occasionally watch somebody else's Binge. So that's,
no, you don't.
That's how you get around. Yeah, no, you're right. I've got access to someone else's Binge that I don't watch.
Because it's illegal. It's
not actually illegal.
No, it's not illegal. Because, those fuckers, they're not going to try and screw you like Netflix did.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, no worries.
Yeah, pretty much. They'll be like, fucking hand it out to everyone. Just don't cancel. So Paramount's number one in the firing line.
Yeah.
There may be a service that I've forgotten. As I said, Adam, if someone charges me $25 a month on my credit card, if it's under 25, I don't even notice it. I think, what was that for? Oh, probably something like that. I can tell you if it's over 25, that's
Nigerian prince has been stealing money from me for years in gobblers of 20.
No, so if I see over 25, that's when I start investigating, going, who's asking for that sort of money? So there may be a service that I've paid for and forgotten about. Yeah, Paramount Plus is the one I'm circling at the moment, and Stan is very much under consideration just to do a chuck it on for a month, can it for 2.
There'd be nothing on Stan that you'd be jumping out of your seat about.
No.
But that's it. That's the interesting part of it here for me. Netflix is the number one for us.
Yep.
Gets plenty of... It always gets looked at.
Yep.
Number 2 is actually Binge, probably.
Yeah.
Which sees a fair bit of action. A lot of shows about fucking people with... problems. I don't really like to...
Do you love an episode of Hoarders?
Hoarders, fucking Dr. Pimple Popper, all that kind of shit gets a run.
You know what?
And there's nowhere else that's got that stuff.
They actually cross over with Amazon a lot, I've found. Things like Amazon and Stan happen to cross over with Binge a little bit.
Yeah.
And Paramount as well. And I think that's because of the Foxtel connection. They've already got deals with that going on.
Squeeze the fuckers together then.
Fucking can them together. Paramount needs to do that. They need to just go to fucking... Netflix and say, here's our shit, just pay us some money for
it. So, Binge is at 2, Stan's at 3. Stan sees a bit of time. My wife likes to look around, right? And so Stan has actually tickled her fancy.
Stan's got a few Hallmark pictures, I believe, Christmas pictures out of
Boom, boom, we're in. You know what else has got it, Jared? I believe fucking Amazon's got a few too, so don't be surprised if some of that shit comes up on your list.
Again, as long as it's not over, it's like the $25 rule. As long as I don't see it in my continue watching or it's like it doesn't happen.
Okay. Let me tell you where because I've got some others that I'm not paying for.
Yep.
But the one that's on the block is Shudder.
Yeah.
Like, it is just, to me, I am not watching enough of it. And it's starting to go up.
I've got a few different selections to you on Shudder, I believe. So
if Tubi starts asking me to pay...
No, they're not.
I'll pay. I will. I would.
What's your dollar figure for Tubi?
$10 a month.
10 a month?
Yeah. But you know why? Because I would have watched $10 a month's worth every month.
But Tubi's conditioned me. Yeah, I've done the same, but they've conditioned me for free. I take a few ads.
Yeah, but I'll
do it for free.
But that's it.
So as soon as they ask me for $2 or $3 a month, I'll be firing up.
Yeah. But they don't need our money because they've got ad revenue.
Well, funnily enough, Netflix and Disney are all going to ad-based tiers too now because it works, right?
Yeah, it does.
You're getting money from...
Well, basically, it is essentially just like free-to-air television.
Yeah.
It's just in streaming.
So they're taking that money-making portion of the free-to-air stuff.
Yeah. So, when's free-to-air going to die off?
Oh,
Christ.
God. When's Love Island and shit like that going to die off?
Oh, fuck, never. All right, well, look, okay.
The Golden Bachelor. So, the fucking Golden Bachelor will die before the series does.
Honestly, that bloke's fucking 70, isn't he? Hang on. You know what, though? I applaud them for at least going for a different demographic and a bloke who's fucking in his 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
Because at the minimum, yes, People at that age need to date as well.
But they don't need to be on The Bachelor.
They don't, but I tell you what, though.
When you're at that age, you should be looking at The Bachelor going, what silly asshole would do this?
But you know what, though, Jared? I can guarantee you wouldn't have drunken dildos acting the fool on it.
Yeah. There might be a couple, but they'll fall asleep by 7 or 8 o'clock.
These guys can't drink.
I mean, I'm 40 and I have a couple of schooners and I feel like I need to tuck in by 9:30. So.
I wanted to tuck in last night at like 9. Like the movie had yet to finish and I was thinking, might be time for bed. And I realised, fuck, I've got another 2.5 hours.
I can't wait for your season of The Golden Bachelor.
Could you imagine my season? Good God. I mean, we'd have to have the rose ceremony at 2 a.m.
Yeah, just when you get up.
I'm just waking up, I'm spry. Get me in my suit. Yeah, look, as far as streaming services, just to put a point on that, I see Shudder going, yes, I agree, I feel like some of them have to go.
Yeah.
Because we are just going to be we're going to be spending more money than ever.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would be happy to see Shudder go. Honestly, there are times, see, this is the thing, there are times when I'm looking at Disney going, you are on the block. And then, boom, out comes a Goosebumps or something, and I'm like, oh, shit. Well,
see, the thing for you, I guess, is that you're not in the Star Wars Marvel bracket.
And I don't have any children, young children.
Exactly. So there's a couple of angles there where it makes sense that you're not kind of Disney's demographic. But
no, that's right.
But yeah, you're right. Like we need to cut back. The only thing about if Shudder cuts back, then there'll be less people willing to just go for a little bit of that straight down the line. Our streaming service is just this.
Yes.
Just horror. That's
but are we the only people signed up to it in Australia?
Oh, I think so.
I think we might be.
Maybe.
Well, no, a couple of our listeners would be signed up for it, for sure. But other than us, I worry that there's not that many.
Yeah. I think it does all right in the States. But
it's got more on it, though.
Yes, it does. And you get to see Joe Bob when he's actually on, not fucking 3 years later. So,
Jesus Christ. Although his most recent one is
on there.
Yeah, it's the
Halloween.
Yeah, and it's for is the
Night of the Demons 2. Oh no, yeah.
No.
Sorry,
No, it was,
Demons 2.
Terrifier. I thought it was Terrifier too.
No. So he did Demons 2 and then All Hallows Eve, which was the first thing that Art the Clown showed up in.
Right. And you told me those Terrifier movies weren't that good, so
Terrifier 2 was all right. It's a lot, but Terrifier 1 I didn't have much time for.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a break, Jared. Here's the trailer for 2005's Urban Legends, Bloody Mary.
High school can be a difficult time in any teenager's life. Trying to fit in, finding new interests, feeling new urges, and, of course, facing your darkest fears.
So how was school today, honey? I saw a ghost in science class.
Shut up!
Now,
This has all happened before.
Professor Alpine University kills his own students using urban legends as his MO.
Like Bloody Mary.
Who's that?
Supposedly, if you chant Bloody Mary 3 times into the mirror, she appears.
That's just like that movie Candyman.
the trail is getting hotter.
I think you need to spend some more time at that tanning salon.
Girls dig it, man.
Very smooth.
The terror is growing.
How long was your brother outside listening to us?
Long enough to masturbate.
Not long at all, then.
And the truth will shock you like never before.
Damn, he roasted his wiener.
The next chapter in fear
Bloody Mary.
Shit, you scared me to death.
is the original urban legend.
Oh, and just so you guys get it right, Candyman ripped off Bloody Mary in the first place.
Urban Legends, Bloody Mary.
Hey, Mindy.
Nice. Shut up.
Urban Legends, Bloody Mary, from 2005, directed by Mary Lambert, who directed the original Pet Sematary. It's produced by Aaron Merrill, who produced True Vinyl, Scott Messer, and Lewis Phillips, who produced The Hunger Games. It's written by Michael Dougherty, who wrote Trick or Treat, and Dan Harris, who wrote X2. It stars Kate Mara as Samantha Owens, Robert Vito as David Owens, Tina Lifford as Grace Taylor, and Ed Marinaro as Bill Owens. The budget was $3.5 million, and it shows. The box office was unknown. I believe it went to DVD. I think it did well on DVD. That's the understanding I have, because the trivia I had says, in 2007, Sony sold the filming rights and a fourth installment was planned called Urban Legends Goldfield Murders. However, after being impressed by the DVD sales of Urban Legends Bloody Mary, Sony bought back the rights to the franchise. The film was later released under the title Ghosts of Goldfield in 2007. I thought it was a piss take, but I clicked on it and it was actually in there.
Yeah.
All right, Jared. I'm going to come straight up on this one. This is a 1-star affair. This is cheap, bland, and it just fails to use Bloody Mary, which is always a cool legend. The Bloody Mary. I mean, that's Candyman.
Yeah.
And yet you get nothing out of it?
Nothing.
There's a couple of grotesque and humorous deaths that I got a little bit of a laugh out of, but it just kind of plods along to a very, very unsatisfying ending, which I saw coming a mile away.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Yeah.
1 out of 5.
Yep. Can't disagree too much. I went 1.5, but I think it was, again, we were probably not too different in the way that we're kind of feeling about it. I was the same with the whole Bloody Mary thing. I'm like, why did you use it and then get mixed up in whether you were going to do that or stick with the urban legend kills? And so it just felt like it didn't really settle on what it was actually going to do with Bloody Mary, or just didn't have the money to do what it wanted to do or something. Like, I don't know, it was very odd. Same goes with the whole mystery element. It just didn't pan out. And all in all, as you said, it looks like, you can see from the get-go that it looks cheap. Everything about it is looks like TV. So yeah, 1.5. Probably should have given it a 1. I'm just in one of those moods where I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah,
about it.
The like section will be quick.
It'll be
sharp,
very quick.
I'd say
very quick. Quicker
like,
than a flash of Bloody Mary on the screen in this one.
I like the use of the radio and the old songs. Kind of had a, whenever Bloody Mary's around, it had a Christine vibe.
Except for the song.
Yeah, well, I mean, the song is clearly, one that they can get because it's free.
Yeah. It's just to quickly whip something together for cheap or whatever.
But I like that idea.
That doesn't mean a song can't be reasonably catchy or...
Yeah. This one's not.
Talk about, like, every time it happened and that voice came in, you were just kind of like, oh, God.
But anyway. I like the conceit of it. It's a bit like Christine.
Yeah.
Which I really like in Christine. I mean, they use proper song.
Yeah.
But the idea that Bloody Mary kind of, when she starts to appear...
Yeah.
We go back to that period of time when she died.
Period of time.
I like that.
Yeah. I thought in general the bones were there for something interesting. Like, it's kind of part Prom Night 2, a little bit of, Elm Street in there, a little bit of Candyman, but it just kind of doesn't take what it could have taken from any. It doesn't choose which one it really wants to be. You just rattled off 3
classic films. And you said these guys have the bones to go somewhere in that region.
Well, not in that region.
That's like me saying fucking Jaws 2's
not in that region. Jaws. Hey, I didn't say it's pretty close to Jaws. I didn't say. That's why I'm saying I'm describing it nicely as saying the bones were there to put something on them. But they just didn't decide which one of them they wanted to be.
Yeah.
Which one. If it was me, I probably would have stuck with the straight kind of Prom Night 2 vibe. And just...
That she came back for revenge.
Yeah, and used Bloody Mary more and ditched the whole urban legend kills part of it.
Yeah, I know, because there's one I will get to that I was just flabbergasted by why you even fucking bothered to do it.
Yeah, so... But, again, I guess the budget restricted what you could do if you wanted to do that, trying to make Mary more of a ghost rather than just a pale person that just happens to turn up occasionally. It's yeah.
You seem to be struggling for something.
Well, that's basically what I was saying. I think you could see parts of those movies in there and where perhaps they might have wanted to go with a script.
Roger's death via tanning bed. At least it was a bit grotesque. Again, it's fucking getting hot, mate. Get out.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
At what point do tanning beds become dependent on someone else to get you out? Surely that's a really bad safety feature.
Was he trapped in there by something?
I think it. Yeah, I think it was another
zoned
kind of
out.
Final Destination thing where something kind of
Something
fucking just
blocked it
clicked.
or-
Yeah, I can't remember, but
At least he is suitably cooked.
yes,
You know, like
yeah,
they don't
he's fucking well done. All right, by the time he comes out.
they don't sort of skimp away from that.
Yeah, I love that she only kind of the girl out the front there. He's like, "What time is it?" And then kind of walks into the hallway
Oh
and goes,
shit! It's like she's
what's
left a fucking toasted sambo in there.
yeah. Just by the look of him, you'd smell that shit from a block away. You would have figured it out before then. But anyway.
Something smells like burning flesh. Like, you know, I understand leaving a fucking toasted cheese sambo in the
Yeah.
the sandwich press
Yeah,
for too
that takes
long.
5 minutes. You could be, overdone.
But yeah, she's a little bit fucking stupid. Look,
I thought it also brings up the point that even at the hottest setting, could a tanning bed really cook someone?
I don't think so.
It's just meant to lightly colour the skin.
There's a reason why they took away the one that says fucking cook. They took that setting away.
Yeah, let's make sure it doesn't go up to 11. Let's cut it back. We only need to go up to about 3 or 4 on this.
Yeah. It's like, look, okay, it's giving me cancer later. But it's not cooking.
Cooking me on the spot.
Cooking me inside and out. Like, holy shit.
Shit. Yeah.
Okay. The spiders coming out. This is probably the best part of best bit of the movie. The zip that explodes and then the spiders come out.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. Even the spiders look okay when there's lots of them and it's not close up.
And then she headbutts the mirror and then she gets the pieces stuck in the top of her head and she pulls them down and tears some of her face off.
Yeah.
It's quite gross and it's quite well handled.
Yes, but kind of suitable for the genre. Well, whichever direction they were attempting to go, one of them might.
One of the directions, it hit the mark of one of the directions that they were going.
Yeah. The other one I didn't mind, and it was very brief, was the only part I felt they got Mary right is where she's crawling out from under the bed.
Yeah, that was well handled.
And it goes backwards. It's like they've shot it backwards, so her hair is kind of out the whole time while she's moving forward, and the movements are kind of jittery.
And then her face changes to a skull. And it comes towards him.
Very quickly, as soon as they get out from under the bed and they start going to that, it falls apart a little bit.
But at the very least, there's some visual pizzazz.
That was the only time I felt like, well, this is what you wanted, isn't it? Like, so yeah, that was a like for me.
Yeah, and this is my last like.
Yeah, I don't have any more, so I'm relying on you at this point.
Mary returning and killing Bill, spoiler, but, you know.
I mean, as soon as you watch the movie, you'll get it.
Yeah, you'll get it. The moment that guy walks into the room. Although his first comment in the kitchen with his wife is fucking unbelievable. I've got questions.
Yeah, okay.
But her coming back to kill him is the right way to finish it. Like, you know, it had to end that way and it ends well enough in that way.
Yeah.
Other problems with it, which I'll get to.
Oh, there's huge problems.
I don't think there's any part of this movie that says there isn't huge problems.
Yeah, I've got a lot to talk about. I just don't have many in that particular section.
Okay, well, let's get straight to the dislikes. Acting. Terrible. I think we're in Dracula's territory again, Jared. We are in Dracula's territory.
Don't sully the fine name of Dracula's.
Well, from what I've heard, Dracula's puts on a fucking decent show.
Exactly.
Better than this bullshit I bet.
I think that even the actors that are reasonable, I think, you know, Kate Mara's okay. The brother's not a bad actor, but I think he just doesn't kind of fit the role.
Yeah.
Outside of that.
Oh, the jocks are fucking horrendous. There is one guy the guy who pees on the fucking thing.
He's a standout shit performer. I don't think he'd tell people.
He's also got one of those fucking hairdos where they combed it all down straight.
Yeah, I don't think he'd tell people he's been in a movie.
Oh, I want to check and see how many films he's been in.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wasn't his best work if this was... Because he didn't even... He looked a bit older than...
Did he? What? Well. I've got another fucking dislike to all that, and we'll go straight into it. The high schoolers, I mean, my ass.
Yeah.
These guys are in technical college. They are TAFE.
It's a
minimum.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a
they
community
should be
college.
working.
Exactly.
Like, the guys you see in the 60s, definitely in their 20s, mid-20s.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, so you've pulled together a 60s spot and you've grabbed a couple of older actors. No worries.
Yeah.
We get to high school in the present day and these fuckers are all in their 20s as well.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
not
what
good.
are you doing? There's
Not
got to
good.
be actors who are between 18 and 19.
There was also a standout scene, the very first one with the sleepover. And, every time there's this stretch where
Oh, is that
Kate
the girl who
Mara's-
keeps laughing?
Well, yeah, they keep talking to the girls, and then I thought I was watching Garth Marenghi's Dark Place or something because they're there going, ha ha ha, and then they say something else, and off they go again, ha ha ha. It's just like, this is really like this shouldn't have been put out on film on DVD.
I mean, Mary Lambert, you've done enough work to get one or two better takes than that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, she's done, as you said, the career's a little varied, but she's done TV work on shows that, CW shows and things like that, which are not noted for acting. But even on those shows, you'd be like, oh.
We can get a
Come
couple
on.
more takes out of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, laugh properly.
I'd be like, this sleepover's not fun. Just talk to each other. Don't worry about laughing.
Yeah. Oh, let's cut this scene. Holy shit, I'm
yeah.
cutting this fucking scene.
They disappeared before the sleepover happened. We're rewriting.
Boom. So, these guys are all way too old to be in the roles that they're in.
Yeah.
And then when you see the sets and shit, when we turn up in 1960,
Yeah.
it's just immediately it telegraphs this is super cheap.
Yeah. Well, the credits looked
Cheap.
super cheap. And as you said, yeah, everything from that point looks pretty cheap and generic and just like a TV show, sort of.
It's clearly he hasn't got a lot of money. I get that.
Yeah.
But I've seen $3.5 million budgeted films that look shitloads better than that.
Yeah.
Like, does it cost that much to hire film cameras?
I don't know where all the money goes. They seem to have a lot of locations. Like
Yeah,
they're always at the school or
Yeah, and then there's some visual effects that...
Yeah. Well, they didn't spend on them, so I don't know where...
Some fucking asshole, I'm telling you right now, some asshole hoodwinked them.
Yeah.
They said, oh, mate, we're a VFX house of the highest
The
quality.
top of the line.
The top of the line, yeah, we can help you. Give us a chunk of cash and we can do something for you.
Yeah.
Clearly fucked him over.
Yeah, don't worry about the invoice. Just hand the money over. We
Yeah.
don't need to...
Look, mate, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a bag. Put it in a bag.
Put it in a
It's
bag.
cash.
We'll come and collect it in our truck, and then we'll fucking piss off. We'll drop the film back when it's done.
Yeah. Okay. They try to create this whole sort of investigation between Kate Mara and her brother,
Yeah,
but they are just plodding around to all these kind of preordained spots,
yeah.
and
And it
there's
takes
no
a
real
while
effort
to even
get to anything.
that.
Yeah.
I think it's about half an hour or 40 minutes or so before they even really start to go, oh, this is what's going on. Let's start looking at it.
Yeah. And none of it, they don't do any investigation
No,
to find out any fucking thing.
no one does. I'll get to that later, but it doesn't seem anybody.
Starting at the start, Jeff, the bloke gets kneed in the cods by Mary and then gets up and chases her down.
Yeah.
I am not getting up.
No.
I don't know how many times I've said this.
Yep.
Clear to the balls. He stays down for 10 minutes
Yeah. And he
checks to see if
He
one of
doesn't
his
get
balls hasn't
chastised.
burst.
He doesn't get chastised by somebody else. He says, this is your job now. I'm incapacitated at 10 to 15. Like,
But also, I go, fuck this. We're going home.
well, if you do that, you got some pretty significant things to answer the next day by the behaviour of these fucking.
Well, this is another bit that I
Knuckleheads.
get to. Another fucking prank that involves serious crime.
Yeah.
Like, where are we going to stop this shit?
Well, I guess so the first is not even a prank. We're led to assume that that's going to involve sexual assault, correct?
Correct, because you're putting date rape drugs in the drinks.
Yes. So the second, the prank in the was it 90s? No, it was early 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That prank is where you're going, well, you're just sending, you're seemingly just trying to send a message here, but you've actually kidnapped somebody. So
Yeah.
so
You know what? You know what the police do when they hear about kidnapping? They arrest people.
But again, in this town,
they don't just go, oh look, fucking harmless tomfoolery.
In this town, they couldn't figure out who it was, so those people just continued to go to school, even though it seemed to be knowledge around the campus.
It seemed to be pretty fucking cut and dry as far as I could tell.
Look, I tell you, if I had some school knowledge and I was the one that got dragged into the principal's office, as soon as they fucking slammed it down and said, we're throwing you in the lockup overnight, I'm singing like a canary.
Oh, fuck
It was this bloke.
I am cutting deals left and right. But
so the cops in this town haven't gone to the legs to figure out
these
anything.
fucking ball bags haven't worked out the one that happened in the 60s.
No,
either.
I know. There's a big red flag around that one.
The police work's terrible, but the fact is we're always doing pranks where people are getting fucking hurt, right?
Yeah.
I pine for the days of a bit of pig's blood getting dumped on you. That's still collegiate tomfoolery,
Yeah,
Jared.
I mean, you're getting probably a term's worth of detentions, but okay, no one
If
got
I
killed.
didn't have to kill
well,
a
they actually
pig,
did get killed, but
I don't want to have to kill a fucking pig. I think that's where we're starting to sort of cross a line.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
look, I just switched some ink around in some pens, and I left it at that.
Yeah.
So when you
I once put some Vaseline on it. On the door handle.
Yeah.
That's as far
I put
as
Glad wrap on the crapper and I walked away. That was it.
And I still felt fucking guilty about someone pooping in there.
I hope that person had a change of clothes that day.
Holy shit.
That's what's on my mind. It's another classic case of give us just a hint of realistic or somebody grasping the consequence of what they're actually doing. And
Yes. Now, the father, when we first meet the father, or he's a stepfather, I believe, Bill, him and his wife are having a conversation and they're having a bit of a laugh and saying, you know, the girls, and they hear the girls sort of having their world's worst sleepover.
Yeah.
But they're hitting each other with pillows.
Yes.
And they're squealing and the like. And he goes in to check on, and then he comes back and he says, the wife says something along the lines of, we should keep them as virgins. We should make sure that they're virgins. And he goes, I think that the time for that has passed. And I was like, how did you become an authority on this? Like, what the fuck do you know about it?
Yeah.
Have you been asking questions? Because that's creepy.
Yeah, a little strange.
You're also the stepdad.
I'm also concerned about Mum's comment too. I'm like, what? There's ways that you could say that with like kind of frame it, constructing your sentence a little differently.
Like, we could lock them up, and then he goes, oh, but people get kidnapped around this place all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about that. We've got to worry about locking our doors.
It's a very...
Speaking of, did you check? Oh, fuck, they're gone. Sorry.
And that happened so quickly.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know what was going on.
Into the living room. Next thing you know, we've got this time lapse.
Yeah.
And they haven't been around. I was just like, what the fuck happened?
I was sitting there confused, going, where are they? Even when they started talking about the prank of the people actually taking them, I was kind of there going, huh? You guys took them? Like, I didn't, when they walked into the classroom and it was clear these guys knew something, but when it came out that that's what had gone on, I was just like, what? Where did that come from? But yeah, anyway.
Oh, for God's sake.
Also, just before that scene, the brother comes in and starts, in that sequence, I believe it's at least twice where they reference Candyman.
Yeah.
Not a great idea.
No, not when you're making this half-assed fucking
It's not a great
Candyman
idea
rip-off.
to continue to remind us about a far better movie that we could be spending our time on.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I love about that sequence, though? First, he stares down the top of one girl and goes, nice.
Scum. Keep that in your head.
Yeah. Don't say everything that comes to mind. Okay? Because I tell you what, mate, half of it is not good.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
Yeah. Well,
secondly,
a couple of the males in this movie, I'd say probably more like 75% of it is stuff we probably don't want to hear.
Yeah, what though? Then the girls go, "How long's your brother been listening out there?" "Oh, long enough to masturbate." She goes, and then one of the other girls goes, "So not very long then."
Yeah.
And they giggle about it, and I was just like, "This is the fucking heights of hilarity."
I think it was the sister that said not. I think it was Kate Mara that said not long enough, or not very long then, or whatever. But I'm kind of sitting there going, what is it with this family and fucking silly comments that things of a sexual nature that we don't want to hear? And I'm not coming next time you invite me for a sleepover. Quite honestly, I wouldn't be here tonight if my parents hadn't already fucking made other plans.
Your family's idea of a sleepover sounds fucking disastrous.
Exactly.
I mean,
when you go
holy
back and
Christ.
your parents say, "Oh,
Your parents want
What
your
happened?
kids to stay
What
a
happened
virgin,
last
but they
night?"
think that that's already fucking, that's gone.
yeah. What you go back to your parents' house and they say, "How was the sleepover? What'd you get up to?" "Oh, we watched a few videos. We got some Pizza Hut. A few comments about masturbation and virgins and things like that." Then here I am.
And then we were all kidnapped. Fucking, sounds like a great concept. Holy shit.
Yeah, again, the police are going straight in and going, the girls don't remember anything from when they were kidnapped, but they did talk about a couple of seedy comments.
I
that you guys
know
made.
that the fucking first detective's got the brother in there going, "You were fucking you eyeballing one of those girls."
Yeah,
but they
I've
were
been
missing."
told you were outside jerking off while this was going on.
He's there going, "Who told you?" My sister. Oh, God. Oh, wow. Okay. There's a bit where Kate Mara sees Mary in her mirror in the back of her door, and she screams, and then she looks again, and Mary's gone.
Yep.
And then the door opens slowly, and you just see the brother, and she goes, "Ah!"
She goes, put your pants back on.
You have overreacted.
Yeah.
Like the door wasn't even being opened that quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Just take it easy, will ya?
It's cool off. Although, yes, she has reason to be concerned.
You've
when
recently been kidnapped, so I get it.
Yeah, when it's her brother and Bill and everyone floating around too. How about when we do first go into the classroom, what about the 90s, the selection of 90s cuts going on?
Yeah, it was 2005.
Oh, man. I know.
These fucking cockheads were...
It looked like a cattle call for a boy band. It was unbelievable. There was the old mate, your favourite, who had the hair brushed kind of straight down with a colour added.
Yeah.
He looked like he was going for the Nick Carter look, but as you said, on like a 35-year-old man.
Yeah, which even on Nick Carter at 35, it's not really cutting it anymore. One guy looked like the lead singer of Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
The
doubt.
frosted tips and the chin
There's no
strap.
doubt.
And the third mate who gets cooked later on, he was just bordering on a bouffant. I kept looking at him and just all that was popping into my head was Carson Daly.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Honestly, and the fact that this was, I initially said it was 90s. It felt like a 90s movie.
It does. It feels like 90s.
Yeah.
Definitely in that range for sure.
Okay, the VFX of the spiders, when seen up close and up close on her face, they are shit house.
Yeah.
Right? They are shocking.
Yeah.
When they're at a distance and they're crawling all over her, they look a
It's
little
not
bit
too
better.
bad. Yeah.
But
Passable.
There are a couple of other VFX shots that are awful.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one
including the skull overlaid on the face a couple of times with Mary.
Yeah. See, to me, you do that shit as a practical makeup effect, right? Well, you just and you have her face a certain way as a practical makeup effect, and you leave it like that.
Yeah,
you
or you don't even do that because they tried to. They did like the half face of a skull. Don't even do that. Just do across the eye and kind of onto the cheek. Or like you can do that stuff pretty comfortably with practical, surely.
Well, depends
not
who you
for
hire, I guess.
$3 million. Yeah,
When you hire fucking, Jim's effects house.
Jim's
I think
Jim's effecting house.
I don't think you get the best work out of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the funniest slasher movie death ever. guy pees on fucking fence that's high voltage, and he gets blown. He gets blown backwards.
Yep.
And his dick gets fried off. And then we cut immediately to the cop, and he's there going, check this guy out. His dick is smoking.
It's ridiculous.
I was just like, have some tact.
Ridiculous again. Pardoning the puns there, but it's like, I mean, if you're gonna go that route and go for a bit of comedy, I'm assuming that's what they were going for, because all I did was laugh when it happened. Like, go for a little bit longer. Like, have him getting zapped a little bit longer, because he just kind of goes.
But also, lead into that shit the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? It's part of the reason why I feel like the Final Destination movies work.
Yeah.
Because, yes, they're trying to sort of be a little serious.
Yep.
But then when you see the kind of the machinations that go on to kill somebody, it's clearly tongue-in-cheek.
Correct. Yep. I think it's a product of, and this is probably its own dislike, is that I kind of mentioned it. It feels like once you decided to go with Bloody Mary, we'll leave the conceit of the previous two movies behind, and that all the kills have to be an urban legend-based thing.
Yeah.
Just go with the Bloody Mary. I mean, you could squeeze a couple in. If you are going to go with the urban legend stuff, you got to pick ones that fit. Like they just did the same thing of, we'll just take any urban legend and we'll chuck it in there, and it'll just be kind of Mary. Mary's responsible. Well, piss that off and just have Mary being a ghost like slasher. Or if you do pick to have her doing the urban legends, pick ones that actually fit, that you can work into that.
Yeah, because they throw in the one about the dog licking his hand.
Yeah.
It's just crap.
It doesn't
fit at all.
Why do we bother with a fucking vending machine?
Yeah.
We didn't kill anyone with it. It was just a callback to the girl talking about, oh, yeah, this was urban legend, the vending machine fell on some kid or whatever. Who cares? Like, I don't need that one.
I mean, the movie should have just been called Bloody Mary. It really shouldn't have been about
could have just gone ahead with that.
This was another one of these groups, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, where you've committed murder or you know something about a murder and you're loudly discussing it in your living room. And then suddenly the stepfather walks in and goes, are you saying Coach Jacoby's in on this shit?
Yeah.
Keep your fucking voice down.
Keep your voice down for one. If I didn't already have my suspicions as soon as he said that, as you said, he's not in the scene, and then you hear footsteps and he strolls in. You think Coach Jacoby had something to do with it? Oh, it's like,
you're talking to me?
I smell Roy Burns. That's all I thought.
Yeah.
Immediately, like I was like, well,
if I had Roy Burns,
if I had any other suspicions, they are completely gone now. It's you. We know. We've got it.
And this is a funny thing, Jared. I had no other suspicions at that stage.
No. Well, you knew it wasn't Don Shanks, which, I should give that a bit of a like. We get a Michael Myers sighting, but it's kind of on the other end. It's kind of on the other end of the ledger, because it's sort of I don't want to be disrespectful to the bloke, but Don Shanks probably shouldn't be in acting roles where he's required to cry and do things like that.
Yeah,
it's not his strength. He's a physically imposing.
Because fuck, no,
I wasn't going to say that. But
no, Don's not good.
But yeah, and again, you knew straight away it wasn't him.
Yeah. From the moment we heard, well, that sequence there gives the whole game up.
Yeah.
But
and him coming in, like, what are you guys doing at the school? You got to get out of here, and all this sort of stuff. It's like, again, you're framing it in a way where we immediately look at him and say, you want us to look at him.
Yeah.
And there's no other ones to look at except, they put...
And we've put a stepfather on the back burner.
Yeah.
So we don't actually see him.
Yep.
So things aren't running concurrently.
I may have missed this, but I wasn't taking note of the names real closely early on. So if all they did was put Willie and Bill, it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's all they did.
Where are you pointing us? Anywhere else? Like,
yeah.
You could have called him by a nickname or something.
Yeah, what though? I didn't even that wasn't even the clue that tipped me off.
Yeah.
The clue that tipped me off is this bloke's dodgy in some way. The moment he talks, he's dodgy.
Yeah.
So as soon
I
as
can't
we-
remember whether they actually called him Willie in the flashback.
They did.
So we immediately then get introduced to a Bill. Okay. So again, I didn't even know that, and we still got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Call him a nickname. Call him Slugger or Champ or something.
Yeah,
in the
that's that, exactly.
How's it going, Skipper?
Yeah. Anything else but his actual fucking name. Which, I mean, don't have names.
No.
Don't even have them.
No.
Honestly.
Because that's something, you're just talking about Night of the Creeps. And we get that sort of thing in Night of the Creeps without the upfront nature of it. You can probably catch on, but at least there's a little bit of mystery around it.
Yeah, small amount. Okay. I love that when she finds the body, she finds Mary's body.
Yes.
And she grabs it and she hauls ass out of the school.
Yep.
And then she runs down to Grace's car.
Yeah.
And she just fucking tosses the body on the ground and you hear it hit the pavement and it sounds like fucking wood. It goes dunk. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, you can't even fucking... The Foley artists haven't got their fucking shit together.
Well, I think that was the Foley artist falling asleep on their desk at that exact moment. It was that was their head hitting their desk.
Like, honestly, you couldn't even get that bit right.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of half-assed sort of stuff that we're talking about here. Obviously, I talked about Bill.
Yeah.
I mean, easy to pick. And when he turns up I love when he turns up at the cemetery.
Yeah.
And he immediately starts going,
Yeah, he's looking again. It's Roy.
have you
He's looking
spoken
left
to
and
your
right.
mother about this? Jesus Christ.
No, Bill, I haven't. I also haven't mentioned some of the other comments you've made in my presence.
Yeah, that's right. And then the last thing for me was the visual effects of Mary dragging Bill into the grave. I mean, that's PlayStation 1 level.
Yeah.
What we got.
We could have just done better with Mary overall. Like, whenever they had her appear and we just go straight to that choppy shit where it's like a close-up of her face and then it's disappeared and then she's back again and all this. It was just bullshit. Like, if that's what you've got, you got to do something different. You got to do something better than that.
Yeah.
I just don't...
Anything.
Anything at all.
Anything better than that.
Yeah.
Because all of that is really, really poor. And again, it screams no money. I get that. But what happened?
But look at something like It Follows.
Yeah.
Like, that is just literally people walking towards the camera and it's fucking creepy as hell.
Let me throw this at you. Did $3.5 million in 2005, basically, is that like $200K in 1980?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
But fuck, mate,
money,
Friday the 13th had
film-wise.
Panaflex cameras. It was on a $200 million budget. A $200,000 budget.
Yeah, but you also had someone like Tom Savini who at the time was probably cheap to get. Because
He was.
that stuff was considered
No,
like
but I'm looking more at footage, of the actual footage.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, in 2005, is $3.5 million TV money.
I guess so.
TV money. It must
I mean, looking at this, it must be.
Or it's where you try to hire a boy band.
Yeah, exactly.
90s boy band in 2005. You try
And
to
when a
put CD back
35-year-old
together.
turns up and says, I'm 18, you say, fuck, come on in. We're light on prospects here.
Did you have anything else?
I didn't have... Well, they were dislikes, but they're also questions, Adam. So a couple of questions for you.
Okay, here we go. This will be good because I've probably got answers.
Yeah, I think you might. Definitely on the first one, you've probably got a solid answer. But did old mate Carson Daly in the shower say chicks dug the fact that he had a white ass?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Okay, so my follow-up question is, did they in fact dig the fact that he had a white ass?
And this is the thing. 2005, I think you were tanning yourself up. I mean, he was in a fucking tanning bed like 10 minutes later.
So his form of peacocking was everyone else's full body tan, so I'm going to go white ass. And that's going to be my point of difference.
What his was fucking laying out at the beach with his crackers on, and then leaving it there. I don't know. Like, was spray-on tans a thing in 05?
I'm sure they were coming into play, weren't they? I was going to say,
occasionally get a rub on tan.
You're probably better placed.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've got some tan experience, Jared. I put on a bronzer.
You dildo.
And I can tell you right now, I make sure my ass is fucking...
Your ass is bronze, not white. Good. Okay.
Bondi says.
So I feel like we've unpacked that to the point where we can say chicks probably didn't dig the fact that you had a white ass.
Chicks weren't.
That's a lie.
I can tell you right now, they weren't checking. Mate.
that's locker room talk.
Yeah.
Make sure you bronze your ass.
But what kind of locker room talk is that?
I don't know. That locker room.
I mean, of all
the same locker room where you concoct a prank that involves kidnapping people. Not understanding that that's a crime.
Yeah, that's right. I know it'll be unhappy about this.
I guess if you live in this town, though, nobody fucking solves anything, so you're just kind of like a bit loose with the laws.
I mean, it was a 30-year-old murder, totally unsolved.
Correct.
And she'd just been up in the
That's my next question.
rafters.
Who's cleaning the school fucking basement or the rafters or wherever it was?
I think it was the attic.
You're telling me that chest was in plain sight. Okay, it's in the attic, but everyone that was in the attic walked directly past the chest.
But it stinks too.
It stinks, of
just
course.
because it's in a chest doesn't mean it doesn't smell.
And if she's disappeared around school, if the last place she was sighted by the people that can say, yeah, I saw her, was at school, they're fucking turning that place over.
Not in this town, mate.
But they didn't look in the chest.
Nah, what's this? I think it's just uniforms.
yeah. What's that? Oh, it stinks. So it's probably the bloody netball bibs or we didn't wash them, so they stink.
Are we going to wash them? No.
But it's 30 years. So for 30 years, I can tell you, things get cleaned out. People say, look at this space. We might need to clean some out, put a new thing of shelves here. So let's pick that chest up and move it over. Oh, shit, yeah, there's a body in here.
Look, shit like that can happen. So I will cop a little bit of that.
It can.
But the smell, for starters. Secondly, somebody would have seen her running through the hallways.
Yeah.
Him on her hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to put fucking 2 and 2 together.
And I understand, it's one of those little nitpicks that's a bit of fun to have a laugh at. But I understand, there's been police cases where they've searched the area where a body was and didn't find it and things like that. But just the fact that for 30 years this fucking chest is still there and he's still locked up and he's still... When they walk in there, there's a couple of times when people walk in, obviously the flashback and then to current day, I have difficulty believing that they're the only two, that nobody's gone into the attic and walked past that section for 30-odd years.
Must have been the same caretaker that was looking after fucking Slaughter Hall.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that prick hadn't moved it, hadn't done anything then either.
No, that's right.
No, it's interesting because to me, there's got to have been witnesses who saw him chasing her.
Again, just make it a little more believable. Just ask yourself a couple of these questions when you're putting that fucking set together and saying, maybe we should fucking hide this, make it look like it's out of the way or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it's probably the same sort of, they're employing their caretakers from the same employment pool that bloke was in.
And this is the thing.
He's the supervisor.
I guess... But it doesn't cost money, Jared. It does, but when you've got $3.5 million to work with, it doesn't cost much as a director and a screenwriter to sit down and go, let's just do another quick go through this, and fix a few of the little issues.
Yeah, just little things.
It doesn't cost you that much to do that.
Yeah.
So why not do that?
Yeah. Like, I mean, could we have not have an explanation for her to leave with him and then have him come back to the thing to put her in there or something like
Jared,
that? Like,
couldn't we have done this? We start with the flashback. They're dancing together. They seem to be close, but there's a little sense of her and him aren't really the type of people who should go together. There's a woman in the background scowling about...
saying, fuck, I hope she's still a virgin. We better keep her a virgin.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a woman in the background scowling. She's the prom queen, but the prom king's been taken by her.
Yep.
They all go out to the car. They get in the car. They drive off. And then we cut to 30 plus years later. And we learn the story of Mary disappearing.
Yeah.
And we don't know where she went. We don't know who she was with.
Yep, that could
and
work.
And she has been missing for 30 fucking years.
Because they then go on to they have Mary giving her some of these little snippets in the dream. So
yeah. So we can start unraveling it, and that means there's an investigation.
Yeah,
and there isn't.
Like that.
It doesn't immediately tell me that Willie did it.
Yeah, Christ. Probably not. So, best to not go with that.
You have to do less, Jared. Less. If you cut all that out.
Yeah.
Anything else? Yeah. Any other questions?
That was it. Just the 2 questions. Maybe I think I was just the white ass was the real.
Well, that's fair.
The real nut we had to crack
because
there.
I went to school and was in locker rooms as well, and nobody ever mentioned that.
Mate, I went
pretty comfortable.
We played bloody social sports and shit afterwards in locker rooms. Well, after that, and I still didn't hear anyone comment on.
Well, it was the male locker room, Jared. So I don't know what women were looking at my ass.
I heard some strange things, but I didn't hear anything about white ass.
Yes, I heard some strange things, and I saw some things that I
preferred it not fucking.
Well, yes, Jared.
Be a part
I prefer not to think about ever again.
Yeah.
All right, that was Urban Legends Bloody Mary. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes, and Spotify. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au or on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at Thrill Me Podcast AU. Make sure you rate and review us wherever you find us. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for details of the next film. But until then, take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch you all later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.